Hey you guys, Amelia here. So I wanted to share with you our Facebook Live from Thursday night, which was so awesome. And basically the premise is that if you can scramble an egg, you can supple a horse. So I wanted to be sure you were able to see that. And also if you enjoy tips like this, and if you find my videos and lectures helpful, be sure to check out the link below and sign up for Amelia's Dressage Academy, where you'll get a chance to participate in monthly lectures on new dressage topics. So right now it's $49 a month, although the price will go up. So get in while the price is still low, and it's cheaper than a lesson. So I think you'll get a lot of value out of it if tips like this are really helping you. And also let me know in the comments if this scrambled egg has transformed your riding, because I know it's helped me, it's helped a lot of my students, and I'm so grateful for my husband for coming up with this amazing analogy. So hello everyone. I have tonight a very special
Mr. Scrambled Eggs, apparently.
Yes, I think Linda dubbed you that. So I think that's a very good name for you. Okay, so my mom, Joellen, organized this tonight. I think she called him on Sunday. And
yeah, we chatted.
Yeah.
She said I should do this. And
look, there's Linda. She dubbed you as Mr. Scrambled Eggs.
Okay.
And my mom posted a picture of us at the wedding, so everyone has seen our wedding picture.
Which one?
The one where you're kissing me.
Oh, that one. I know that
yeah,
one. I was there.
Oh yeah, you were there. Good. Glad to know. Okay, so we can't start talking about scrambled eggs until 6:05, and it's 6:02.
But you said a blooper.
Oh yeah, so
I can do my very first pre-St. George blooper.
Yes, Kim asked our bloopers. Yes.
So I got home. I got out of the Navy, and I go back to riding, and it had been some years. My clothes had dried. So anyway, I go to the show, and that was before helmet, so I had to borrow a top hat because I forgot mine. So the top hat that I borrowed was a little bit big. Didn't get the right gloves, so I had to borrow a pair of gloves that were a little tight. And my britches, which had dried out some over the years that I didn't ride. So I went to mount the horse from the ground and blew out the stitches from knee to knee. And there was nothing to do, so there I was, smuggling grapes down center line.
Your britches were blown out?
The seam, because I got on from the ground, right? And when I threw my leg over the saddle, it just blew all the threads out.
Oh my gosh.
And
that's pretty embarrassing.
The britches weren't really held together, and there I was, down center line. Wow. In a hat that didn't fit, gloves that didn't fit, and
that's pretty embarrassing.
My very first pre-St. George. Woo!
Yeah, let's see, my very first pre-St. George, I rode Herman's horse. That was really cool. He trained him. I'd never done the pre-St. George before, and I think I rode Q for 2 weeks, and he got me ready to do my first pre-St. George. So
yeah, old Q.
That was cool, and it went well. What are my bloopers? I think my horse Trump, my old Grand Prix horse, he definitely embarrassed me more than any horse I've ever had. I had so many times like in the show ring where I just left in tears. And I think Herman saw one time like going around the edge at the equestrian center, and he squealed and reared straight up in the air. And I think that was the test also where he tried to buck me off a few times, and the judge stopped and said, "Do you want to finish your test?" And I said, "Yes, I do want to finish my test." You got a 43% once, didn't you?
Oh yeah, on Pee Wee, who was a stallion that got sent to my trainer, and that was good because I used to be the groom, and then that horse showed up, and I became an assistant trainer that day because nobody would ride this thing. He would stand up all the time. And he wasn't quite ready to go to the show, but away we went to the show. And he stood up and he reared through the entire first level test. That's Levi in the corner chasing the ball. He stood up and he reared the entire test. And I got, and I knocked down, in the Jimmy Durante arena, I knocked down the whole long side. He kicked out at it and the whole thing stood up and fell over. 42%.
That's pretty bad. 42%. Yeah. That's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
Okay, 71 people are watching. Do you think we should start with our scrambled eggs?
Sure.
We should start.
Okay.
So tell us the story.
All right, so the story with the scrambled eggs. So my closest friend is actually our shoer, and we dive a lot. When the weather's bad, I go to his house, and we made breakfast. So I've got a dozen eggs. Well, there's the two of us. We're making bacon and eggs. I'm making a dozen eggs. And he brings out like an egg beater that you turn the handle on and things go in. And I'm like, this is terrible. You can't do anything. I need a fork and I need to go like this. And when I thought of that, it reminded me of my forearm being soft and how I supple my horse. That was the thought I had when we were making breakfast. So now let me back this up decades ago. I'd been riding for like about 12 years, and I took a lesson with Albert Tiedemann, and he's trying to explain to me. And so he walks up, and I'm holding my hands like this, and he has me stand the horse quiet. We're just standing there, and he goes, okay, now supple the horse. And he puts his fingers on my forearm, and I begin to supple. And he just goes, Jesus Christ, why are you so strong? And Albert's my size too, so it isn't about the strength. That was the point he was making. And so he put his fingers on there, and he showed me to keep my forearm muscles soft, ride the horse from my elbow, my shoulder, from the back, and then to flex them and soften. I've been riding 12 years before anybody had taught me that, and it changed all my horses. It changed my life, and it's changed all my horses because now I have soft connection. And I've been teaching for a while, and in the book it says you want to be able to see the fingernail, the pinky on your fingernail. So you turn that inward so you can see the fingernail, and then you rotate that forward, and that's suppling. And that's the pictures in the book. Which book is that? You remember the pictures? Anyway, whatever. And so I've been explaining it like that forever, and it doesn't. And I've done the other thing where I touch people's forearm and go, this muscle has to be soft. And I was making breakfast at Shane's house that day, and then the next day, Monday, I went to go teach two people, and I asked the one, I said, have you ever scrambled an egg? And she says, yeah. I go, okay, so try that with your wrist. And boom, the horse's head and neck got soft, and it put his head down. And not that the scrambling egg is exactly right, because if you're holding a fork, right, you're scrambling with that point. And to supple, can we see the reins there? Is this going to work?
Yeah, maybe I should hold it like this. Wait, hang on. Okay, wait. I might have to stand up here. Okay, there's the hands. I can see your hands.
Okay, so, all right, so if can we see it?
Yeah.
So see how you're doing this, right, with the fork? You really want to do it with your pinky, and there's your fingernail up, and then the knuckles face forward, and then it's up. And so your right hand, to answer Joe Ellen's question, this one goes clockwise, right? Because it's in, up, out, and just to straight, not this. So you see your pinky fingernail, then your pinky makes like a little circle, and it faces forward. Your left hand is counterclockwise, okay? But the thing about the scrambling egg, what that does is you can't scramble an egg if your forearm muscle is strong. That's what I would realize when I was making
Are you going to
eggs.
show us how you actually scramble eggs?
Oh, Lord.
I think that would be entertaining.
We have a real... writing in?
Yes, people want to see you really scramble an egg.
And so Amelia added the part about the bowl, and it's your outside rein. So if you're holding that bowl, you've got to hold the bowl, but it can't be, I'm holding the bowl, and you can't be that strong. So and to be able to do that fast, right, your forearm has to be loose. If you make a strong muscle, it's this, and it's got to be loose, and that way you can just whip that up. They're going to be fluffy later. Having scrambled eggs for dinner. So anyway, there you go. There's the scrambling egg thing. But you see, that's more like your thumb and your pointer finger doing it. And when you've got the reins, we're still there?
Yeah.
It's more of a this thing, or this, or... The point of the whole thing is to not let your forearm muscle get strong. And, from all those reports, there was a lot of people who actually did feel that. And for those of you who didn't, we were trying to explain that a little bit clearer. So
another thing that I think this really helps with is that a lot of us, when we're riding, we tend to just pull back with our elbow first. I remember one time, Herman is like a really good teacher because he uses images, and those really stick in your mind. And he told me that I looked like I was starting a lawnmower when I was riding my horse because I was just yanking back with my elbow instead of doing the scrambled egg. And like the little scrambled egg thing, it's amazing how responsive your horse is to that, like just that little motion. Because, they have a piece of metal in their mouth. So you really don't need to be starting a lawnmower on your horse. And it's important, though, I think, to remember that everything in riding is done through feel. So, it's not like you're like going around like constantly like whipping your eggs. It's just when you feel your horse get a little tight or locked up that you do that motion. And then when you feel the horse get soft, then you leave it alone. And also that this motion is pretty invisible. Like if you do that little motion, it's something that, the judge can't see as much as if you're just like yanking back with your arm.
So on the suppling thing, so the first thing is that, right? You make a fist, you soft fist. What is you got where you're holding a bird in your hand or whatever they say. So it's a fist and the soft fist, right? That's your primary half halt suppling aid. Then, if that fist isn't enough, then it's the flexible wrist. That's secondary. Then, if you still need more, because he's still a little stiff, and so you're going to position him a little bit more, you're still doing the fist, you're still doing the wrist, and then tertiary is that the elbow comes back. So you don't shock load the horse's mouth. There's a soft connection, you're, and then you bring it around so it doesn't get combative.
Yeah, and definitely, your goal when you're riding is that the camera's not staying. When you're riding, you want your horse's neck muscles to be soft. And like you want the horse's neck to be pliable and elastic. And so your arm needs to feel the same tone that you want in your horse's neck. So if your arm is like really like the muscles are bulging and your veins are popping out of your arm, then your horse's neck is going to feel the same. Like your horse's neck is going to be all stiff and strong. And so that's why this like image of the eggs really helps. And it's been, I first mentioned this in a webinar that was like a week and a half ago. And it's been like really cool how many people on Facebook have commented about how it's helped them and their horses. And we were talking about this the other night, like this has helped hundreds of horses.
Yeah, it's amazing that because of the technology, that little simple idea, and it's just an image. And if it helps you, that's great. And if it doesn't, but all that feedback that, oh my God, my horse is soft, and it just made a clear picture, and all those horses are so much happier now.
Yeah, and that's cool. I mean, that's what I think is cool about this group is like the ability to reach all of you. Like we had almost 100 people watching, reach all of you and help you with your horses, and just like if there's little things like that can help. And another thing that I wanted to point out that's really important anytime that you're thinking about your reins or contact and connection is also to remember the role of your seat and your legs. So it's really important when you're scrambling your eggs that your seat stays going with the horse so that your hand doesn't stop your seat, because that's, one thing when we're sitting here scrambling our eggs at home, but you're on a moving creature. So you need to be able to scramble the eggs and keep your seat moving. Another really important thing is that you need to be able to scramble eggs with your left hand and your right hand. So
just not simultaneously. One is an outside rein, the other's the inside rein.
Right.
Because I had somebody doing it with both hands the other day, and I was like, oh boy, I said something really, really wrong.
Yeah.
I had confused somebody. I was like, yeah, that's no.
Okay, so only one hand at a time, but we're all either left-handed or right-handed. I'm lucky. I'm left-handed. So
it's way better to be left-handed in a right-handed world. You will become ambidextrous.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't have coordination in their left hand. So it's good if you're right-handed, practice brushing your teeth or scrambling your eggs with your left hand, because you need to have that dexterity in your hands equally. Otherwise, it's going to affect how your horse is going. And then as far as your legs, it's really important your inside leg to outside rein. So, your outside rein is like holding the bull, while your inside rein is scrambling. But you have to get the energy of your horse going into the outside rein. And you create that energy by pushing the horse off of the inside leg and getting them into the outside rein. So your seat and your leg have an important role in scrambling your eggs when you're riding. It's not just your fingers.
Yeah, it's always, horse must go forward. It's got to go into the contact. Otherwise, your horse's neck is up here. He looks like a turtle getting his neck down into his shell. You got to seek that contact. But that's why the suppling, we call it suppling, but we'll call it scrambled eggs from here forward. That's why that's so important, because the horse then telescopes that neck out and looks for the bit. If that contact is an unhappy place, you can push and kick all day long, but they won't go there because it's not happy.
Yeah. But it's a challenge. I mean, I
didn't say it was easy.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the contact and the connection is one of the hardest things for me. And I know when Herman helps me with my horses, he's always like, you need to be softer, you need to be looser, you can't just hang on your horse. And it's hard. It's hard to, especially when you're trying to do things that are hard, like a half pass or a transition. We all tend to just lock up and kind of pull and hold our horses instead of having that, conversation. And when you watch the really good riders, they have such invisible aids and they have such fluidity through the transitions and with their horse's motion. And that really comes from the contact. And, to clarify, contact is basically from your elbow to the horse's mouth. Connection refers to that whole circle of energy. So from your leg through the horse's hind end, up through the top line and to the bridle. So it's complicated, but this is a really cool image that has helped. So
yeah, it was so nice to hear everybody go, oh my God, I felt softness, which when it happened to me, or for me, whatever, when Albert was like, God, why are you so strong? And then there was obscenities and he yelled at me too, but it really changed what I did with my hands, and my horses have all been better for it after. So, I'm eternally grateful for that, because it wasn't so nice before that.
So this is Mr. Scrambled Eggs.
That's
You're
how
now
I know
famous.
now. I'm Mr. Scrambled Eggs.
You are very famous, and hopefully this little discussion helped clarify, because I know there were a lot of questions. Someone was saying that they found that it was more like stirring tea like a lady. That a little gentler motion. So it is,
right. You're not going to go as fast as you do to scramble eggs. I mean, that's where you were saying earlier about the feel.
Yeah.
You gotta. The punishment has to fit the crime. So if you got to feel what's happening in that neck and do the right amount. But that's all of horseback riding. It's Goldilocks. This one's too hard. This one's too soft. This one's just right. And, good decisions are based on experience, and experience is based on bad decisions. So you're gonna make some mistakes and go, okay, that worked, this didn't, and on you go.
So
there you have it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Scrambled Eggs, for being here.
Go supple your horses. And
let us know. You can post and let us know if this helps you, and let us know how it's going with your scrambled eggs.
Okay, all.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Have a good evening.